Good afternoon. Thank you all for coming out. I'm Deputy Chief Aaron Hughley. I oversee our Investigations Division and serve as our agency's Public Information Officer. Standing here with me today is Southfield Chief of Police Elvin Barron, Deputy Chief Jeffrey Jagowski, who oversees our Patrol Division, and Detective Lieutenant Mustafa Beasy. Today, Chief Barron will provide details on an auto theft investigation and the exceptional response time of our patrol officers, which led to multiple arrests being made. The incident occurred on Thursday, March 13th, 2025 at approximately 3:30 a.m. in the 27,000 block of Berkshire here in the city of Southfield. I ask that you please hold all of your questions until the conclusion of the press briefing and turn off or mute any cell phones or other electronic devices. Also, please wait to be escorted back down to the main lobby. A press packet is available on the back table, which includes a USB drive of all files presented here today. Also, for record-keeping purposes, we ask that you complete our media sign-in sheet. And without any further delay, Chief Barron.
And again, thank you, Deputy Chief. Certainly thanking our media friends for being here. And we had a slight technical delay, but thank you for your patience as we got our systems up and operating. You know, it's very important that we call these press conferences when we make arrests involving suspects involved in car theft and car theft-related crimes. As we expressed before on different occasions, you know, Southeast Michigan is experiencing a crisis as it relates to individuals stealing vehicles. Also, it's a national crisis across the country with these individuals stealing not only cars, but car parts, because you know there's a huge demand for these items. One thing that this press conference brings to the community of Southfield, particularly to some of our community groups, because we do speak with them on occasion as it relates to what's going on in the neighborhoods. I know a few of the groups had expressed to us that they had saw individuals recently, you know, prowling through the neighborhood in wee hours of the morning, which sparked us to do more targeted, focused policing in those particular neighborhoods. We also are very fortunate here in Southfield that we have not only good patrol officers on every shift who are monitoring our technology and doing what we call good old-fashioned police work as it relates to identifying individuals coming into our city for these types of crimes. But we also have the Oakland County Auto Theft Task Force housed here in Southfield. So what that means to all of you is that we have a two-layered approach to these particular types of crimes. One, as I mentioned before, patrol officers on each shift, monitoring, paying attention what goes out in the neighborhoods, and also the Oakland County Auto Theft Task Force, which consists of Oakland County Sheriff's deputies, Southfield Police Officer, Hazel Park Police, Farmington Hills Police, and also Detroit Police. An outstanding group of detectives who will do surveillance operations, and then once these arrests are made, we hand over those cases to the auto theft unit for criminal prosecution, and they will seek those charges through the Oakland County Prosecutor's Office. What I would tell you when it relates to statistics, we'll go back to October of last year to current day. They've made a combination of police officers on the shift and the Oakland County Auto Theft Task Force, 43 arrests during that time frame. Again, October of 2024 to present. And if we talk specifically to Southfield, and we'll just talk 2025, 21 arrests resulting in 47 felony charges. So this gives you a sample of what we're doing in our department. When you look at our city, and I've said this on many different occasions, we have 3 different freeways that come through. We have a lot of hotels, apartment complexes. So it can become a target area for individuals who are seeking to do auto theft related crimes because the cars are, I use the word, are on display. So we do encourage our residents and the visitors to be mindful of securing your items. But in the meantime, again, just be assured that Southfield police officers are managing these issues, and today's press conference is going to bring that out. And so today we're going to show you a video of a pursuit that took place involving the arrest of these individuals. And if I pause right here, I'm going to always mention the fact that Southfield police officers are trained at pit maneuver training. We received that training from Oakland County where officers are taught the proper way of making intentional contact with the vehicle and then bringing that vehicle to a stop. You know, like I know, vehicle pursuits are very dangerous. They're a risk to the community, the public, and also to our police officers. So it's important that we have this training. And this year, within the next several months, we'll have 60 more police officers trained in this respective field of pit maneuver. So we'll get right to the circumstances, and then we'll show video and also a 911 audio. So on Thursday, March 13th at approximately 3:30 a.m., Southfield officers were dispatched to the 27,000 block of Berkshire on an attempted stolen vehicle. The victims advised Southfield dispatch that multiple suspects were observed breaking into a 2017 Dodge Charger. The victim observed seeing the suspects on his security camera approaching his vehicle and attempted to open it via the door handle. Responding officers observed a suspect running from the location on foot and enter a white 2015 Mazda. Southfield officers observed that Mazda along with a stolen green 2014 Ford Fusion. That vehicle was stolen early that morning on March 17th, and that vehicle was stolen out of the city of Southfield. These vehicles were following each other in very close proximity. So you had the Ford Fusion and the Mazda in very close proximity of one another. Based on the officers' observations, it was apparent that both vehicles were involved in acting in concert with one another. Both vehicles were observed exiting the subdivision at the same time, and both vehicles turned in unison onto northbound Evergreen Road. The stolen Ford Fusion was the lead vehicle as the white 2015 Mazda followed from behind. Southfield officers began following the two vehicles and observed both vehicles turn simultaneously onto Villa Point condominiums and drive off in separate directions. Officers followed the Ford Fusion and illuminated the vehicle with the spotlight from the patrol vehicle. Southfield officers observed multiple people inside of the Ford Fusion with masks on. The Ford Fusion immediately accelerated away from the Southfield officers who were in a fully marked police vehicle equipped with audible lights and sirens. As the driver fled away from the officers, they drove over grass, rocks, and the vehicle became disabled and the occupants fled on foot. So remember, we had another chase going on. Southfield officers also advised additional units that the white Mazda fled from the location and turned northbound on Evergreen. Arriving Southfield units initiated a pursuit of the white Mazda and observed the suspect vehicle make an abrupt turn onto Kingswood Place condominiums. The Mazda continued to actively flee from Southfield officers, making no attempts to stop or slow down. At that point, the officers utilized our pit maneuver, striking that vehicle in the rear corner panel, which resulted in the vehicle spinning out and becoming disabled. All the occupants of the vehicle remained inside. The driver of the Mazda was identified as 21-year-old Ty Reed Pitts, a resident of Ypsilanti, and the front seat passenger was identified as 18-year-old James Lee Harris, who was also identified as being a resident of Ypsilanti. Tyree Pitts was charged with third-degree fleeing and eluding, unlawful driving away of an automobile, and receiving and concealing a motor vehicle. He received a $50,000 cash bond. James Harris was charged with unlawful driving away of an automobile, receiving and concealing a motor vehicle, and received a $1,500 personal bond. When you look at the criminal history of Ty Reed Pitts, he has prior convictions for assault with a dangerous weapon, breaking and entering, receiving and concealing motor vehicles, felony assault, and miscellaneous destruction of property. When you look at the criminal history of James Harris, at this time he did not have any documented criminal history. And I always say that because, as you know, like I know, sometimes this is the first time these guys may have gotten caught. Pitt's next court date is scheduled for March 28th at 8:30, And James Harris' next court date is scheduled for March 28th at 8:30 as well. Southfield officers also arrested a 17-year-old juvenile who is a resident of the city of Detroit. The juvenile was processed by Southfield officers and turned over to the parents. And just note that the suspect's age, this will result in the juvenile being turned over to Wayne County for processing. As I explained to people before, when juveniles are apprehended for crimes, the county of residency is where they will be held accountable. So in this case, that juvenile will be headed over to Wayne County to be held accountable for that. We also had an 18-year-old that was involved in this, resident of Atlanta, Georgia. Based on his involvement, he was issued a citation for misrepresenting, meaning he tried to provide a false name and also resisting an obstruction. And again, he was given a citation and a court date. And so a final suspect, again, that 17-year-old was in the fusion, and at this time we're looking to determine if any other individuals were involved, because as I said before, there were multiple folks who fled from the vehicle once we apprehended them. So I'm going to show you the first slide. You can adjust to the screen. This will be evidence of what we found inside of the vehicle. As you can see, masks, gloves, all tools used to conceal their identity. Because what we believe is that this is a organized car theft ring. Certainly when you look at the items that they choose to commit their crimes in, we can assume they're trying to ensure that perhaps body cam video or even our residents who have Ring doorbell cameras that sometimes guard their vehicles, they're not captured on the footage. So you can get an image of that, and then I'll wait for you to get that evidence, and we're going to transition to the 911 audio. So you will hear exactly what the caller stated as they reported what was happening in the neighborhood. So 911 audio, please.
March 13, 2025, 3:27, 27.
Southfield 911.
Hi, someone just tried to break into my car.
Where did this happen at?
I live on Berkshire Drive in Southfield.
What address?
Hi, somebody tried to break into my car.
What kind of vehicle do you have?
I have a Dodge Charger.
Okay, did you see the person?
Yeah, it's on camera.
How long ago did this happen?
This just happened like 30 seconds ago, and he's still on the street.
Did they arrive in another vehicle?
No, he's on foot.
Any description?
He has a hoodie on. He's small built.
Do you see what color the hoodie was?
I think I can look on the camera. It's black and white.
Are you on Berkshire?
Yeah, I'm on Berkshire Drive. I'm closer to Winchester.
Okay. Now we're going to transition to the vehicular pursuit.
Okay, that's not working for me. What color is your Charger?
It's a Dodge, it's charcoal gray.
And I'm sorry, what color was the mouse hoodie?
The hoodie, I have to go back
So
and
you have to go back and look? Okay.
Okay, so I'm sorry, my address.
And you will all, as we always do, provide you a copy of the audio and video.
Do you see the direction that person is walking?
He's walking like he's going towards the freeway,
So is he walking towards Winchester or?
No, he's walking away from Winchester.
So he's going south on Berkshire?
Yeah.
Anyway, you can check that footage again and give us a better description.
Yeah, I'm not sure now.
We already got
street, with no cars. One of them is across the street, I guess being a lookout, and the other one just ran up to my car. I can send you the footage if you give me your, but hold on. It's black and white, I can't tell, but he's definitely small built. He got on black shoes. Bubble, he said bubble, it's a bubble coat, and, he got on jogging pants, but it's black and white. We can't really tell the color.
Okay, so is one wearing a hoodie and one's wearing a bubble coat?
Both of them wearing hoodies. But the one that approached my car, he's small built. He's little. He looks like he's about, I want to say he looks like he's about 5'6". And he looks like he got on a bubble coat. And he got black shoes. And the bottoms look like they're white.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, no, they black. He's headed towards, they're headed towards like, what street is that? Oh my God. So my house is on Berkshire.
Yeah, I got that.
Yeah,
We
right.
just happened on Chester.
Yeah, so they're headed like you going towards the freeway, like 696. That's what they're headed. They're headed that way. They're not.
So they're going towards the dead end there, or where it's in the 11-mile service drive?
Yeah, they're going to. He headed towards Livingstone. It's away from Winchester.
Do we know if they went down Limestone or if they kept going south?
We can't see that far.
Okay, well, the officers are into the area, we have an officer on 11-mile at the end of Berkshire.
Okay, and they're on further to it.
Okay, then we call on shortly.
March 13, 2025, 3:32:42.
That's fine. Once they ran, Raleigh 6 North got 3 at that point. Crawl through the window if you have to. Crawl through the window if you have to. Crawl through the window! Straight to the ground! Yes, one more. Wait. This side. Not yet. Hold on.
Not yet. Relax. Relax. Relax.
Hey, open the door with your right hand. Yup. Step over, both your hands up. Yeah, I'm gonna check her right here.
When the body camera ends, stay tuned. We're gonna go back and show the pit maneuver. I think it was like a stall for whatever reason.
I'm wondering your advice on this potential contact with me.
All right, so stay tuned. We'll go backwards, show you the pit maneuver. All right. So very quick, and I'll let you guys readjust. The importance of utilizing pit maneuvers to bring these individuals into custody. As you see, very short pursuit. We got there very quickly from the 911 call. We're able to locate these individuals and disable that vehicle. And then again, the second vehicle was disabled because they made a decision to drive over some rough terrain, was in at that pursuit. So we're going to always commend our officers for utilizing our training, because we do recognize that vehicle pursuits are very dangerous, and we got to do what we can to ensure that we do things in the best interest of public safety.